Class, I'm Ms. Schultz, and today I'm going to be teaching you about fractions. Who can tell me what a fraction is?
It's a type of numbers.
It is a type of number, but what makes it special is the form we write it in. We write it in the form a over b, where a is a whole number and b is a positive whole number. Who can tell me what a whole number is?
Positive whole number.
Anything except 0?
Yes. In this case, it's anything except 0. We're talking about both negative and positive numbers. 1 through infinity, or negative infinity, all the way up to -1. Just not 0. So what are the components of a fraction?
Denominator and the numerator.
Good job, and which is which?
The bottom one is the denominator and the top one is the numerator.
Good job. So now we're going to talk about adding and subtracting fractions. With adding and subtracting, we have to make sure that the bottom numbers are the same. So if we have 1/5 and 6/8, these two numbers right here need to be the same. We call that a common denominator. To make those numbers the same, we'll use a least common multiple. Now you know what least common multiples are, right? We've talked about them before.
Yeah, the smallest positive numbers of the two.
Good job. So, what's the common denominator, the least common multiple between these two?
40.
How do we get 40? 1/5. How do we make 5 into 40?
Times it by 8.
We're not going to just multiply it by 8, because we need both sides to be equal. In order to make both sides equal, whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. So we're going to multiply it by 8 over 8, because 8 over 8 is equal to 1. We're basically multiplying it by 1. So this will give us 8/40ths, which will give us the common denominator that we need. So 6/8, what do we do to that?
Times both by 5.
Good job. So 5 over 5. And what does that give us?
30 over 40.
So then we'll add 8/40ths to 30/40ths. And what will that give us?
88 over 80. Yeah, 80.
The bottom two are not going to multiply. Those will always stay the same. And adding and subtracting, these two will just come over here as 40. We only add across the top. The bottom stays the same. So turn to the second page and there's some examples there. So why don't the two of you do the first one together? You can work together on it. So you guys got it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, what did you get?
3 over 2.
Good job. How did you get that?
The common denominator between 6 and 3 is 6. So then we add
you'll multiply 2/3 by, how did you change the 3 into a 6?
I would times it by 2.
2/2. And then how did you change the 5/6 into, that was a 6 already. Ignore that question. So then you added 4/6 to 5/6.
Yeah.
And you got 9/6. And you guys did something we haven't talked about yet, which is simplifying. So simplifying, as you probably already know since you just did this, is when both the top and the bottom can be divided by the same number and come out evenly. In this case, we can divide it by 3/3, and we get 3/2, as you did. So it looks like you guys have this put down pretty well, so we're going to move on to multiplying and dividing. With multiplying and dividing, we'll start just multiplying. If you have two fractions, 5/6 times 2/3, like what we just had, and you're going to multiply them together this time, you just multiply straight across. So you'll multiply 5 by 2 and get,
10.
good job. And you'll multiply 6 by 3 and get
18.
Good job. So flip to the third page, and let's do that first one together. So 2/3 times 5/8. What are we gonna get? What are we gonna do?
You just multiply straight across.
Right, so you'll have 2 times 5,
10.
and 3 times 8.
24.
And can this be simplified?
Yeah.
And how do we simplify that?
By 2.
2/2. And we get,
5 out of 12.
good job. So why don't you do the next one on your own? You got that one? How about Carrie? Did you have that one?
Yeah.
Okay, what did you guys get?
3, 8.
Good job. And Carrie, how did we get that?
We multiplied across, and then you got 9/24,
Yeah.
and then you divide that by 3, and then you get 3/8.
Right, you divide by 3/3. So now we're going to talk about dividing. It looks like you guys have multiplication down pretty well. For dividing, it's a little trickier. Have either of you heard of inverses?
Yeah.
And what do you know about an inverse?
You switch them.
The inverse is the opposite of the original. If you multiply a number by its inverse, you always get 1. In the case of a fraction, all you have to do is flip. Like you said, you flip it. You exchange the numerator for the denominator. So in this case, we'll get 1/6. And instead of dividing, now we're going to be multiplying by 3/2. And we'll get 3/12. And we can divide that by 3/3 to get 1/4. So on the next page are some examples. And let's work out the first one together. So we have 1/4 divided by 9/8. What do we do?
You switch the 9, 8.
And what does it become?
8, 9.
And what are we going to do now? We have 8/9. What do we do with the 1/4?
Yeah, multiply with the 8, 9.
Good job. So 1/4 times 8/9. And what does that give us, Carrie?
8/36.
And can that be simplified?
Yeah.
By what?
When you divide it by 4.
4/4. And what does that give us?
2/9.
Good job. So do the next one on your own. Okay, did you guys have that? And what did you get?
21/5.
Good job. And could that be simplified?
No.
Great. So do you have any questions before I let you loose on your assignment? Okay, so your assignment is going to be page 136, 12 through 50 even.